If you believe it, you're gonna make it. Getting stronger by the day, you're invincible. If you believe it, you're gonna make it. Getting stronger by the day, you're invincible.
Grind it, dirty wine, working for you. Grind it, dirty wine, working for you.
And on that note, it's a Thursday. You are on S3 watching TrendingSA. What a way to kickstart your evening and entertainment. You all know that I never serve all this heat by myself. It's just too much. Helping me tonight with all this content goodness, I have my Blair, my apparent brother from my apparent other mother from a place very far that no one really knows about called Umlazi.
No, I do understand how we are related. We gave you that place called Gqeberha to run because we felt guilty.
Amazing.
We felt guilty as a family that you were born out of wedlock.
How iconic. Gqeberha is still that place, ne? You're being mean. Moving on to somebody who's very nice, more style, more flavor. He always gets all the love.
More money.
Oh, more
without
money
the
too,
problems.
okay.
Did you just laugh?
I actually cannot handle the team today. It feels like I don't even know what day. But our first guest tonight is a multidisciplinary creative. She dabbles in a vast array of creative streams. This incredible artist is currently dominating as a pioneering South African dancer, DJ, and choreographer. She has shared the stage with international artists such as Lil Wayne and Ray Sherman. Oh my God. The Durban-born superstar has cemented herself as a force to be reckoned with, and moves that are sure to even make Yaga sit down. Sorry, her work is bold, authentic, and super powerful. Welcome to TrendingSA, Courtney Paul.
Who wrote that? What a vibe.
Right?
That was Jagger, right?
I was going to say, there was a conversation before that took
Now I'm exposed.
No, there's something that you want to do since it's a Thursday.
Hey, look, Mom, don't judge me. Okay, cool, thanks.
I think the punishment should be you dancing so that Courtney can
just a little something.
adjudicate.
Just so I can
Okay, what
tell you at the level I can understand.
We will. Okay. Yeah, at the end.
No, it's fine.
Don't embarrass me.
Courtney, we've seen this form of dance, B-girling evolve, right? And I just want you to tell us about where the space is at the moment.
Sure. When you say you've seen it evolve, I'm not sure what you would have seen because it literally just kind of started in a sense. So breaking is the first original dance of hip-hop, which I don't know if people really know. In terms of the hip-hop camp, it came the DJ, then it came the b-boy, and everything else followed. So when it initially started as everything, it's very male-based. So females didn't even know it was something they could do, you know what I mean? Like, how do you try to do something you've never seen someone look like you do before? But now we're on the up and up. Competitions are now being more inclusive. There's now female sections and. So it's changing, man. It's now been added to the Olympics. So you're not just going to look at me like any Jaivane on the street now. And I'm an Olympian, you know?
I don't know. Then Skumi, does that make it a sport or what do we say then?
In the same way that you would think of gymnastics and you think of them as athletes, for me, it's one and the same. Like, if you look at the dance style, it's not about knocking the others, but most genres, I could teach you some moves right now and you could do it.
Sure.
Breaking is a different altogether. Like, we're looking at least 2-3 months for one move. And even then I'm like,
I mean,
are you sure?
I don't know what kind of agility you need to have in your body. But you have all of that and more because you've made it very far in the B-girl competition. Top 32, the only African, I believe, to make it that far. I mean, what does that say about, your journey as well in the space?
Sure, I don't know what it says because I was just as shocked as everybody else, you know? Again, we come from a space where you're kind of just doing stuff. You've never been compared to anybody overseas because we're never part of the conversation as South Africans. Whether it's our level, whether it's our opportunities, we're never part of the conversation. So I was prepared for a comp, I think, beginning of last year. And I was going to do it just for fun. My dance career has moved so far away from competition. It wasn't something I ever wanted to do. But when they introduced the B-girl category, I was like, let me just show up for my people. Then they're like, through to the next round. I'm like, no.
That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
I didn't want to actually do it. They're like, hey, next round. So it's been quite an eye-opener for me because I thought my competitive time was up. If you just look at the dance landscape in the country, like, everybody's like, so are you going to open a school? No, I've got stuff I need to do. You know what I mean? So people
and you're still young.
No, but in dance world, I'm like a dinosaur, Like, people are like, you still doing that? And those people are my mother. Like, you know, so it's been a journey, man. But I think I'm kind of just at the beginning of it now, all of a sudden.
Courtney, you are a pioneer of a space, right? And you have basically diversified your creative output. I want to know, Uguti, how do you summarize the evolution of Courtney in the industry?
For me, it's been quite a natural progression, if I'm completely honest. I think people always say, like, oh, you do this, you do this. No, I don't, you know, and I feel it's very specific to women. If it's a woman that does a lot of things, you're like, she's got no direction. She's just here and here and here. But if it's a guy, oh, wow, he's so powerful. He's diverse. He's the breadwinner, you know? So for me, there's nothing that I do in my life, in my space, that you haven't seen little bits and pieces of throughout my entire career. It just so happens sometimes dance is taking over. It happens sometimes that DJing is taking over.
Right.
It's just, I'm trying to find balance, which I never will.
By the way, you're the only DJ that can dance. You literally...
This is the point at which I just
I'm
leave
going to
this
take it to the back.
You're the only DJ that can
in this room.
In the room?
In the room.
Right.
Yeah.
That changes
I
things.
just have to say, because is it in the room, is it Joburg, is it South Africa? I'm just making sure.
But you know what? We let the music rescue us in those situations. Right? And speaking of music, No Other Way is currently streaming. And this is another space, as Mable alluded to, you know, your diversity and creativity. Let's actually take a quick squiz and a listen at this.
When you dey wake up the place, up the place, you dey boss up the place, switch up the place, baby no other way, baby no other way. You dey wake up the place, up the place, you dey boss up.
I love when they gotta reverse the word.
They definitely had to. We're all gonna get fired.
How do you feel about the space of music, considering, you know, everything else that you've done?
Sure. Again, I love it. Music for me has been there since day one. The dancing, the DJing, it was never part of a plan. I never woke up and said, today it's me on the floor. No, never. I didn't even know I could dance. I grew up in Durban, little to no opportunity, little coloured community, Red Hill. So I'm closer to you than I think this one, but anyway, it's fine. You know, I've danced in as many a night, you know. So yeah, for me, it wasn't a thing at all. I started dancing by chance. And in Durban, you quickly do every ICC gig, every Golden Horse Casino in Maritzburg, every 21st, every Sweet 16. Now you're sitting there like, so... Sure. You know, so I needed to make the move, man. And I quickly realized, once I moved to Joburg, I think I was 21, I quickly realized that I'm either just going to do what I want, or I'm going to forever sit back and go, you know, I feel some type of way because I should have tried. So the music for me is very natural. It's something I've been doing for so long, but again, it's this constant fear. Nobody... In the space, to be completely honest, I look and I go, I don't know whose path I'm following. So I'm kind of just trialing and erring as I go. But
maybe
I'm
that's
very
okay as well.
Yeah. That's also okay.
There's an element of learning about who
that
you are in a particular space, right?
But it's taken time, so I think now I'm comfortable there.
I love it when a Durbanite
is
in the house, and we wish you all the best, but you're a Durbanite, you are going to do it anyway.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
There's no other way.
There's no other way. When we come back, we'll be talking to Thami Dish. You don't want to miss that.
Working for you, working for you.
Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely welcome. keep playing, it's fine.
Okay, this is the part where I'm like, all right.
Welcome back. You're still with us on SAR on 3 as we open things up and opening up the conversation as well. So over the last few weeks, our timelines have been flooded with hashtag RIP messages following the brutal and senseless murders of the LGBTQIA+ members, Andile Ntutela, Nathaniel Mbele, as well as Pamandla Khoza. I mean, their murders have drew widespread dialogue, and our next guest is going to be helping us with this very layered conversation and just some of the themes and pointers that have come up on the timeline in terms of the major talking points, especially regarding the queer community and the matter of allyship. Thami Dish has become synonymous with championing queer rights and anti-homophobia through his foundation, and of course the Feather Awards. We'll welcome Thami on TrendingSA. Good evening.
I know.
The incomparable Thami, especially when you look at the way he introed himself on the show.
With a laugh?
Yeah, that. And everything else.
Was it
Everything else in between. There's been a lot of wrong happening in South Africa. And we see this through the hashtags that we've seen over the last couple of days and weeks. You know, hashtag justice for Lulu, hashtag justice for Spa. I mean, you look at our constitution, it's hailed as one of the best in the world and one of the most progressive.
Oh, we have one?
And that's what I'm going to get to, right? So you've got the constitution, which is glorified in that sense, especially with regards to, you know, gay and queer rights. And then you've got what happens in society when we're seeing these killings. Where is the disconnect in that, Thami? What is going on?
You do speak of the Constitution, which is great. I think it's one of the best we have. I mean, in South Africa, we're like number 5 in the world who have okayed and legalized same-sex marriages and have a very progressive constitution. But unfortunately, the lived experience on the ground is different. And I think it goes to what happens in communities, you know, the conversations that are happening on the ground, some of the injustices that have existed over time. And you know, again, going back to that constitution, you then come up with it within the period of our freedom, and then you say, everybody else has got this constitution and it's your right, and everybody must uphold that constitution. But there are people who are not held accountable for violating that right, and people have basically disrespected the constitution throughout. And I think that for queer people, what we've done over the years is perhaps started from screaming about just basic access and basic rights to now saying, okay, this is what it looks like for a queer person.
Right.
It looks like this. We need you to be sensitive to this. We need you to be aware of this. We need you to be able to start dealing with the realities of what our experience is and how it translates into you guys upholding that constitution. So, I mean, most of the time it's an ongoing conversation of, oh, okay, you perhaps didn't realize that was wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
And you're obviously speaking about people's mindsets. And you can have a glorious constitution, but if our mindsets are in the wrong place, then we have an even bigger problem.
But other people are very convenient with it, right? So people are they conveniently ignore the constitution. They conveniently choose to not get into a point where they lean in and they want to find out more information about what our experience is as queer people. And I think for a long time, people have okayed it, you know.
Right.
People have just walked by watching other queer people or other people being bullied at schools.
Right.
Even our family members have bullied us in various spaces, and we've said nothing.
And when this conversation was happening on social media, and there's hashtags and there's justice for Lulu, etc. You know, Steve Ngesi, who is an ally to the community, didn't say anything in that particular moment. And everybody felt like he was using, I don't know, this as a way to benefit, I guess, and it's a convenient thing for him to not say something when he feels like it or to say something when he feels like it. Was it a missed opportunity on his part? And do you always have to say something?
Since we're talking about allyship, well, one, I didn't say anything as well.
Cool.
I kept quiet, and also because I don't have to say it on social media.
Right.
What I think we should do as humans is learn to look at ways we can use those platforms to benefit us and to do the right, as opposed to just calling people out. These spaces that we are that are social media are quite vile if you look at them. Yes, you can, they are vile. Very. Fact.
Yeah.
You know, and you can perhaps ask people, the same thing they say with Civ. There was nothing wrong with Civ dragging. Everyone has got the right to drag if they wish, and to do whatever they want, actually, basically. But now Civ is there, and he's been a recent topic around issues of queer people and dragging, and taking away the spotlight from those who are earning a living out of doing drag shows, and him having a privilege of being able to, you know, pass, and, you know, heterosexuals will be like, oh, it's fine, it's okay, you know, Civ is doing it, it's okay. But to how we can actually reach out to those people and say, how do we make this work for us?
Right.
You know, I think that the world where we are now requires us to be slightly a bit more compassionate and to try and find that context is important. We do these things where we come onto these shows and we see like a clip that is a minute and we don't know what the context is, and then we go, you know. The decoding and encoding of messaging across these platforms is just intensely missed, you know.
I just want to speak on social media because there's a buzzword on social media that's been added to the alphabets, which is allyship.
Yeah.
And then, but there seems to be something called performative allyship, and then there's actual allyship.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
You know, allies who are there and who show up, we see them and we acknowledge them. And then there are also other allies who've got a bigger voice. And I think that we actually need to go back to basics. Again, do not allow an injustice to happen in front of you and say nothing.
100%.
Right? You do have contacts with people who play in the spaces of this work that we do as queer people. Call me. Call somebody else. You have friends. If I can't think of anyone who can say to me today that I don't know of a queer person and I don't have friends. I don't have family members. You know, it's what happens at home. Like when my mother says something like this, I'm like, Mom, actually, don't do that. Don't say this gay person. When your uncle says this, when your teacher says this, when the guy in the Uber says this, when in offices. I mean, there's a lot of work that even. I mean, we leave it just to humans and allies, and we're looking at it from this perspective. But, you know, people in corporate, they said nothing. Yeah. They're going off to save, you know? I haven't heard Old Mutual say, okay, we removed MacGyver, sorry, but here's what we're now going to do with the killings that are happening. We're struggling to make anything happen with the work that we must do as a community. And unfortunately, the work that we do is not budgeted for.
Thami, I just want to know, because we find ourselves as a country in a space where it seems as if the violence towards queer bodies is taking a rise. We saw that on social media.
A massacre.
It's a massacre. People are getting killed. In your space and your platform where you work, right now, quick fire, what's the way forward?
What I do want to see is the president, the same way we you know, handle the issues around GBV with urgency. I want us to be able to go and do the same work with LGBTQI humans in this country, because it is not fair for me to wake up in the morning at 5 a.m. to a tweet or to a DM from a 17-year-old who says, I'm now scared, because it makes the work that I have done in the last 15 years.
Thami, we appreciate your time so much and the insight you've given and just the energy and just the reminder of the work that needs to be done, not just by you, by all of us. So thank you so much for that, and we appreciate your time. All the best of luck in the future.
Thank you.
Certainly. Stay with us. We'll be back with more. It is Star on 3.
I'm feeling good. Welcome back. It's on 3.
So let's check out our weekly installment of Connected Family with Olwethu Leshabane, brought to you by Mum and Baby Platform in partnership with Vodacom.
Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting installment of Connected.Family, powered by our friends Vodacom. I'm Olwethu Leshabane, and today we get into some of the ways that I've been navigating the stress the pandemic has caused for my boys. And I know there are many parents out there that are still trying to find ways to manage the ripple effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on their children. So let's get straight into it. Number 1, answer questions about the pandemic simply and honestly. Talk to your children about anything they hear. And it's okay to tell them that people are getting sick, but remind them that following safety steps like wearing their masks and staying home more will help keep the family healthy and safe. Number 2, keep in touch with loved ones. Children may also worry about their grandparents who are living alone or a relative or friend with an increased risk of COVID-19. Allow them to talk it out. And when safe visits aren't possible in some cases, video calls can help ease their anxiety. Number 3, schedule virtual meetups or play dates with their friends. Use whatever technology you have, Skype, Zoom, FaceTime, to virtually meet up with those you love. If your kids are missing their friends from school or their best friend from down the street, work with the parents to arrange some virtual play dates. Number 4, make me time for everyone in your home a thing. Me time is important for everyone in your home to practice. Set aside time every day for your kids to do something for themselves or have quiet time in their rooms. And during this time, you can treat yourself to something that will help you relax. Do a 30-minute meditation. There are amazing apps for guided meditation. And eat your favorite snack without having to share with your kids. Or stream a new episode of a TV show you've been meaning to catch up on. Number 5. Swap out the social media and news overload with some fun apps and games. This can be tough for some people because scrolling through social media is often seen as a way of relaxing. But the constant exposure to worries around COVID-19 can be harmful, and children may pick up on your anxiety. And that brings us to the end of another edition of Connected.Family. Thank you for joining me, and I hope this was insightful and helpful for you and your family. Remember to utilize the Mum and Baby platform for more insights, tips, and parenting hacks that you need to keep your family connected, healthy, and happy. And it's back to you in studio.
So Vodacom is packed and ready with more self-care and mom tips for you. All you need to do is sign up for Vodacom's Mom and Baby platform for all your parenting hacks to keep you and your family connected. You can access Vodacom Mom and Baby by dialing *117*6862# or by visiting the Mobi site on your screens right now.
With technology and humanity, we can go further together. Vodacom.
Our last guest for the evening is the Minister of Menstruation. Yes, you heard me. It's Candice Chirwa. Candice is a woman on a mission. She wants to change the disempowerment narrative and taboos around menstruation. Candice is also the author of Perils of Patriarchy, which sheds and unpacks women's lived experiences in South Africa. She wants young girls and women to accept and fully embrace their bodies. Candice is a thought leader with an avid interest in gender and youth issues in South Africa. Welcome to TrendingSA, Candice.
Thank you for having me. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Candice, you've been dubbed the Minister of Menstruation, and the work you do to help women empower themselves in society that is not kind to them. Tell us why are you so passionate about this whole situation?
Well, menstruation is a natural and biological function that happens when our eggs are not fertilized. And it's so interesting how society has given us a lot of thou shall nots in terms of the restrictions. So we are told when we start menstruating that we cannot cook, we cannot enter a place of worship, we cannot touch natural organic things, we cannot touch boys when we're menstruating. And it's a lot of restrictive behavior because of a natural function. It doesn't make sense. So I am so interested in just understanding and unpacking these taboos and empowering, in particular, young girls, women, and menstruators about the very natural function that happens to half of the population in the world.
So Candice, there's research that's found that up to 30% of girls in South Africa miss school because of period poverty. And this is a phrase that we've heard flying around on social media, and it's almost new to a lot of us. But what is period poverty? What does that mean?
So essentially, when you menstruate, if you think about the resources you need, as in your sanitary pad, your tampon or your menstrual cup, and you didn't have that, if you didn't have access to a sink to wash your hands, a bin to throw your disposable products away, the education, the access to information, that is essentially period poverty.
Candice, I just want to know, the kids that are missing school, those people in the rural areas, how can I, as Maple today, help out to end period poverty?
It is really about donating to period charities that are working on the ground. There's so many organizations that I can list from the top of my head, the Cora Project, Pad Princess, Curate, for instance. And you can donate either monetary wise or actually donate the sanitary products by going to the drop-offs. But it's also asking yourself, in the spaces that you work in, is there access to sanitary products? Because you probably work with 50% of females and menstruators in the workplace. So where is the access to these sanitary products? And this is really, really important. And I think this is something that we need to challenge more men on, in particular, just asking themselves to challenge the policy in workplaces and saying, I know that there's access to toilet paper. I know there's access to condoms in the toilets, but why is there no access to sanitary products? And just by removing that fear, it's just so important. So I think it's really about asking yourself what you can do in your own space, but also in the spaces that you work in, the spaces that you create in, and just saying, hey, I realize I work with mostly women. Why are there no sanitary products here? And just challenging it directly.
Thank you so much, Candice, the Minister of Menstruation. I see you go with the burgundy as well, matching your cause. All the best with the work, and we'll definitely find a lot of ways to support you. Appreciate it so much. And we've come to the end of another episode, so tune in tomorrow, same time, same place. Let's open up. Good night.
Yeah.